Phoebe Schilla and welcome to the Art of Dinner. Today we're making chocolate honey mousse. It takes 3 ingredients, it's fast, easy, and delicious, and it's impressive. Your guests will never believe that it only takes 15 minutes to make. 3 ingredients. The first is a high quality chocolate, and I like dark chocolate. So I do a bittersweet 72% cocoa. You could choose to do a semi-sweet chocolate if you'd like, or even a milk chocolate. One of the reasons that I choose Guittard, besides its great taste, is 1 cup equals 6 ounces. So I need 12 ounces for this mousse. That's 2 cups. So that's about 2 cups. The next ingredient is 3/4 of a cup of heavy cream. You'll need 2 cups total for this particular recipe. And so we'll just measure out 3/4 of a cup. We'll pour this over the chocolate. And then we need sweetener. Now this recipe is originally from the Epicurious website, and it calls, I think the original recipe calls for 5 tablespoons of honey, which I think is far too much, and it makes the mousse taste really like honey. I like using honey as a sweetener, but I cut it back to 3 tablespoons. So there we go. Now we're going to take this over to the stove. I'm going to turn the stove on low. Take my spoon. You could use other types of chocolate for this. I have made this recipe with just your regular Nestle Toll House semi-sweet chocolate chips when I'm in a bind, and that's all I have in the house, and it still works. It's just going to be sweeter. The dark chocolate really makes for a more intensely flavored and more sophisticated dessert in my mind. And mixing the chocolate with the cream and setting it over the stove protects the chocolate from burning. If you wanted to melt chocolate separately, I would recommend doing it over a water bath. So you would have a pot of simmering water, and you would set a bowl of your chocolate over the simmering water to melt the chocolate. But with the cream, it's not nearly as delicate. Once your chocolate has melted and the mixture is smooth, you're going to take this off the stove and you're going to let it cool. Your next step is to take your cream. You need remember, you needed 2 cups of cream total. You've just used 3/4 of a cup in the chocolate mixture. You have 1 1/4 cups remaining in your carton. So you're going to take the whole carton. I'm not going to bother to measure it because I already know how much is in there. We're going to pour it in the bowl, and we're going to mix some cream. So you can see now that this does start to hold a peak, but if you were to put some on your finger, it's not granular at all. It's still really creamy. When the cream starts to get granular, you're well on your way to making butter, and it will alter the texture of the mousse. So really what you would want to do in that case is start over. Now we need to fold our chocolate into the cream. But first we need to make sure that the chocolate is cool so that you don't melt the cream, because you have to remember that cream will melt if it's exposed to heat, and it doesn't take much heat to melt cream. So what I do is I'll take a little spoon and I just put the tiniest little touch on my upper lip. And that's just barely room temperature, so I think we're good. Give the cream a little stir. If you don't, and that's just perfect. Then we're going to take our chocolate and we're going to pour it over our cream. Doesn't that look great? And then you want to keep the lightness of the cream. So you want to Run the whisk around the bowl, pick up from the bottom, and gently incorporate the cream into the chocolate. And this will need to chill for about 2 hours. If you are short of time, you can put it in the fridge or you can put it in the freezer, and that's perfectly acceptable. Just remember, if you set it in the freezer, to set a timer or to note the time so that it doesn't freeze. Now for presentation, you can do a really fancy presentation in a wine glass, parfait style. So for that, I take a couple of spoons. I take our mousse, and you can see that it's really light and really silky. Put it in our wine glass. And although it's more time consuming, you'll have a better presentation using a small spoon that allows you to place each spoonful on top rather than using a large spoon, scooping it and making a mess all over the sides. So, and you see how it just mounds ever so slightly? That's just perfect. It's just exactly the way you want it. And then I like a layer of strawberries because I love chocolate and raspberries. It's one of my favorites. So I just pop those raspberries in there. And then we'll put more mousse on top. Finish it with just one raspberry on top. We can also garnish it with a little bit of whipped cream and a sprig of mint or a mint leaf. Before you put it in the fridge, take a clean cloth and wipe up any spatters that you might have. And then we'll set it in the fridge, and you are ready to go for whenever your guests arrive. The other way to do a presentation, and this is really fun, you take a little Tupperware, and this is for for packing lunch boxes, if you're going on picnics. You just get the individual serving Tupperware, you fill it with your mousse the night before, you put a lid on it, and you just pop it in your lunch bag or your cooler, and you just take it with you. And it's the perfect size for one person. It's easy, no fuss, no muss, and that's it. That's our chocolate mousse recipe. Thanks very much.